Now we're joined by Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield. Mr. Attorney General, thanks for taking the time. So the White House, we know, is now asking the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals for an emergency pause on this order by the district judge that's paused, in effect, all of the National Guard troop deployments, whether it's from the Oregon National Guard or California or Texas. The White House argues that the district court has impermissibly second-guessed the president's military judgments. Are you confident this district ruling will be upheld?
I mean, the way you got to mention this and think about it is that this was a judge appointed by President Trump. This is an incredibly well-founded judge and well-researched judge as she went through and looked at the facts on the ground. And the facts are just that. The military is not needed in Portland, Oregon. In fact, in America, just using the United States military in our cities is not normal. And so we do expect, and this procedural ruling, because that's what it would be, a Ninth Circuit procedural ruling, we do expect the Ninth Circuit to deny the president's request and allow this case to continue moving forward. President
Trump claims there are paid insurrectionists at these ICE protests in Portland. What is he talking about?
It's a really darn good question. You know, when I got out of law school, I started doing community theater, and I think the president would give me a run for my money. The fact remains that the judge had an opportunity to hear all the facts from both sides. And the best that the federal government could do was present facts from the president's own Truth Social media. So that's the type of facts that the federal government is working with. We're using real facts in a courtroom, and that's why the judge sided with us. The president just doesn't get off of a helicopter, walk out of the White House, and just make things up. If you're going to do that, you don't get to deploy the military using those types of fake facts. You actually have to have real facts if you want to put the military on the streets of our cities.
The president's deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, accused this Trump-appointed judge of legal insurrection. So now we're hearing that word a second time. What do you make of them repeatedly throwing around that word insurrection as it relates to those who push back on the administration?
You know, that's incredibly dangerous rhetoric in a democracy, especially when you have a president who appears to be normalizing the use of the military on our American cities. I was incredibly offended when the president says that this judge is not working for me. I was like, has this man never read the United States Constitution? Does he not understand what having an independent judiciary means? No judge, and it doesn't matter who the heck they are, should ever serve any politician. That's offensive, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. You should have some significant red flags in your head when you hear a president saying that, and then when they're attacking the free press, when they're attacking our elections and trying to put the military on our streets. That is un-American, and it has to stop.
What is your view of an out-of-state leader like Texas Governor Greg Abbott basically raising his hand to get involved in your state's affairs and to send in his state's National Guard troops?
You know, this is something that's common sense. So if we start thinking about it, it's like, oh, National Guard troops from another state coming into another state, maybe that makes sense. But now think about it, about your state, the state that you live, and your rights when you have another governor or another state trying to interfere in your own state when a judge, a federally appointed judge, has said there's absolutely no need. It really crosses some stringent boundaries that we've set as a nation. This agreement of 50 states coming together to form the United States. It's wild what's going on in our country right now. I'm patently offended by that. And again, a tremendous amount of credit to the federal district court judge who has kept a really level head and trying to just look at the facts on the ground and say, there isn't a need for the military. You need to stop. And the president's being incredibly cute with this, right? Oh, you can't use the Oregon National Guard. Well, maybe I'll try the California National Guard. Oh, if I can't use the California Guard, now I'll try the Texas National Guard. The reality is there is no need for the military on the streets of our cities here in Oregon. And the judge was very clear when she made her order.
Democratic governors have been sounding the alarm on these troop deployment plans, and California's Governor Newsom wrote this. This is a breathtaking abuse of the law and power by the president. America is on the brink of martial law. And it's not just politicians. This very same federal judge, in her initial ruling blocking Trump on Saturday, wrote, "This is a nation of constitutional law, not martial law." And of course, this is all after President Trump suggested that the nation's top military leaders should use American cities as training grounds. Is it hyperbolic or alarmist to say President Trump's goal is martial law?
What I would ask people to do is take the set of facts that are going on right now. This attack of the free press, this normalization of the United States military in cities across our nation, a president saying that he wants to train the U.S. military in our cities. Take all of these facts and go back 20 years and put those facts in where we were at that point in time. We would lose our minds. Right now, I fear that we're that frog in boiling water. And that's why these fights, and while it may seem, not like a huge deal to fight the use of the United States military on the streets here in Portland, 200 Guards members, it's incredibly important that we don't become that frog in water. And that's why I think you're seeing folks rise up, whether it is Democrats or Republicans, say, no, we got to draw a line in the sand. You need to stay in your lane, Mr. President, and operate under the Constitution and operate under the laws that Congress has given you. I don't think it's hyperbolic. And if we don't push back, it most certainly will not be hyperbolic.
Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield, thank you so much for joining us.